Alright, reaction one to what Haas called Saturday night. So, right off the bat, we know that they're going to try and take Hill. They have all of these mediums, which usually means Hill. And we have less mediums, which means that we're not going to win the Hill statistically. So, first off, we try and win the Hill, which is a big no-no. They have 3 TVPs, and yeah, we're just gonna lose way too much HP pushing Hill, but we still do anyways. Yep, there's 2 people dead, and then there's 4 people dead right away. And they have a person on island that counters where one of the most important heavy tank spots is on this map. So we can't really play here because of how they have a medium tank right over here. He's able to counter anyone sitting on this line. So we had to pull all the way back here. And when we're pushing into this, with them having 3 TVPs there, they have open range all through here. And that's enough time for them to put 2 or even 3 shots in per person, which is what they did. And then with this, we see that they're sending 1 TVP. Why is that changing? So they're sending 1 TVP that way, and they have a 140 over here that's going to be coming like that. So automatically the chieftains in this area are pretty much done for if they decide to push that. I do realize this. I think Haas does as well, but we're kind of failing too much to recognize it. The 277 that's on the hill, he's sitting about there. He should probably try and be back there instead, since he is the last person alive. That would mean that they would have to come like this. Instead, he's over here, so they can just go like that and get straight into cover while they're fighting him, if they do choose to go after him. Other than that, there's nothing else we could have really done. We shouldn't have been fighting to try and win that hill. So yeah, here they're just cleaning this up. So, if they're going to be sending everyone up towards this hill, what we could have done instead is we could have sent people to go all the way back here in CS's, and then they would have been able to shoot all of their tanks that are sitting over here. And then we could have also brought our TVP and our what's it called? 140s. We could have brought them over to this island. And then this way, as long as we stay here on the island, they can't do anything unless they're peeking that very far corner or way over here. So we could have killed their 140 over here, and then we would have had back control on their TVPs, and we would have also been safe from this island so that we could have our heavy tanks sitting there. We really had no reason to push into them on the hill. So it was kind of just a misplay to attempt to do that. But instead, if we just had 140s and TVPs come here and just stop behind the rock over here, we could have had chieftains over here, and that would have just been fine to spot this hill. We could have kept like 1 medium tank back here and 1 medium tank back there if you wanted to be that safe. I would have sent every CS to come here first and then rotate them back. Well, probably rotate them back that way, because they can't rotate back that way because they're going to have people there. So if they hop buildings here, and then they can just keep popping buildings, and then they can get by safely. And then from here, you just have Chieftains proxying this, so they can't peek that, and then you can get CSs either back here, or rotated over here. You can push that. Like, there's a lot more rotations and plays that you can make, but when they had TVPs here, and they had Chieftains here and here, and then they also brought over half of their team onto this hill, there was no way that we were going to win that fight. And it was just inevitable by the time that we finally died that we were going to die. Next map. This is Fisherman's Bay. I'll change my strat sketch while I'm loading in here. It's nice that it's finally remembering that I don't want it in fucking full screen. Alright. Clear it. Okay. Now we're just waiting for the game to realize that I'm trying to tab back in. I'll get all of this ready. I'm not going to do tank layouts. I really don't see the point in tank layouts. Make sure that I'm recording. Yes, I am. And it's recording my display. Good. Alright. So, for this game, how I realized that they were wanting to push us out in the middle is the fact that they brought 3 279Es. In the past, every time we fought 279Es, they've always brought them over here. And when they're over here, that forces our chieftains over here to move out like this. Which then their E5 and their chieftain can be sitting right there shooting us. Their 140s over here shooting us. And when we don't have control of this entire middle, because we don't take enough, they get to make us play the middle how they want. And that is what they do. They end up taking this, they end up taking that, and they end up taking this. Let's speed this up a little. So here we see that they're sending a CS deep right away, and then we spot that they're doing exactly what I thought that they would do. So from the looks of how they were pushing that, they wanted to get a 279E right there, an S-Conk over here, a 279E right there, a 279E right there, and then chieftains over here. And then what their group over here was going to do is they were just going to push like this. They were going to get the chieftains and 279E there, and the S-Conk was going to push out this way and get right there. And then we spot that they also have a 277 in the middle, which we didn't really assume that they would put one there. And that means that they very well overmatch us, and all they have to do is just W key in. And yep, there's that 279E. There's the E5. Okay, and one of their 279Es is already pushing in. And you can see they know that we have people in the city. So instead of doing the push around like that, they're coming to these buildings here, and that blocks off any shots from anyone that we have over here, which is very smart by them. What we needed to do was we needed to kill those 2 people in the city. And hold on, let me pause it. So if we quickly killed the 2 in the city, we could have had all of our 277s push those 2, and then come up right behind them like this. Now, we didn't do that, and it's kind of smart that we didn't do that, but it's also kind of stupid that we didn't. Because right now, our 5A, or the Querlin, isn't really getting shots. And neither are our mediums or a Sturv. So right now it's just a free-for-all for the guys in the middle, and their whole team is in the middle. So what they're doing is all that they're doing is they sent 2 people here to just keep our push from the city in here because we didn't repush them. When we had 4 people, they only had 2. And then they have the CS over here spotting these mediums, so they can't sit there and shoot their guys through here, or they can't shoot them over here. And then our Sturv's back here, so if he shoots, he's also going to get lit by that CS. So basically what they're doing is they're sending their tanks in like that to just be bait for the middle to be able to kill our middle and then win the game for them. Now, we do have 2 chieftains that are surviving for a very long time, and that is good. But the major issue is we're not going to be surviving for much longer, and no one behind us is really shooting them. Like, this Querlin should have been moved into the city to help the 277s kill these guys, because we had to kill that city super quickly to get those guys into the main fight. And then these guys over here should have pushed down and then around, because it's a CS and it's a Leo. Both of those aren't DPM tanks. We had a UDES, which can use his gun depression, and a 907, which is 4k DPM. Now, when they're pushing, this is about the only time that the Querlin really had shots. And it's also one of the only good times that it was to have them there. They realized that we were playing City, so they didn't allow the Querlin to really get cross shots. And then right here, the 277s are finally wrapping up that fight against 2 people when half of their team is right on top. Now, if we had pushed the UDES and Sturv, not the Sturv, the UDES and 907 down below like this and then up like that, this dip right here, if they stayed in that, would have kept them safe from these people while they kill those 2. And then also, we have a trend of taking Artie all the time, which is not good if they're going to be playing this quickly. Especially a GC. I don't know why we take a GC on this map. I mean, it's a map that a 261 can play on as well. But if they're going to be pushing quickly, a GC is definitely not the tank that you really want to be playing. I'll do this one next. Wait, erase these. Which one's next? Desert? That must be Sand River. I'm just doing these in the order that everything pops up, so. Is it gonna play? Did I not click play? Is it playing? It is not playing. No, it is. What? What? Okay. Make it into full screen, otherwise I'm gonna have aneurysm. Alright. Oh my god. Wargaming. I switched it to full screen and I fucking hit apply. That means that I want it in full screen. Alright. So with them bringing S-comps and a 277, and then a couple of mediums and 2 EBRs, that pretty much immediately tells me that they want to play this middle hill, and that they have mediums to counter anything that we do over here. So with that in mind, if they're going to be playing this hill, and they want to win this hill, that means that they're going to be sending their main force through here, and then they're going to have a backup force just going through there. And then if they own these two spots, they have cross shots all through here, and then these guys have cross shots all through there, as well as not allowing us to have people back here because they're all secluded and going to die. Now, another thing that they could do is if once they're done getting cross shots from this hill, like if these guys back off so this hill doesn't have any shots and they're getting shot in the behind, they can move those guys down and they can push through here and then push there and just get behind our guys. Now, I don't remember what happens in all these games. I didn't review them before doing this. This is my first review through. I'm probably just going to post this one because it's better to get a first reaction than a third or fourth reaction. Don't mind the reloads being broken, that's just wargaming who can't figure out how replays work. So right here we get lit, we know that the EBR is over here. Now we can't spot their EBR back because EBRs are broken as hell. And then I'm pointing out the hill that we could have a chieftain on. And then you decide to push up for some reason, Haas, which I don't understand. As a version 4, you shouldn't really be on that hill because of your side. I mean, we know that they're going to be playing this hill, which has cross shots over here, and I believe I did say that. So being in a version 4 over there, it doesn't really make sense considering your side is the weak point. There's that EBR. Here's my terrible aim. I should have aimed that one in sooner. It's not like he was going to go anywhere until he got shot. Welcome to more terrible aim. That one should have bounced. And then right here, I'm trying to see where this Sturv can shoot. And I look back and I see this hill that I'm using right now is what's kind of going to be impeding the Sturv from doing anything. And I believe that's why teams take a 279E back there instead. Because with a 279E back there, you're going to have less DPM, but he's able to see over this hill and be able to put his entire hull up there without being able to get penned like that, very reliably at least. So he can actually shoot down this entire line as they're pushing. Whereas the Sturv is going to struggle to see over that hill quite a bit. And then here we see, yes, they're playing this middle hill. They're not playing it on the outside, but they're playing it here, which gives them shots here and over here. So we can no longer rotate out like that. We have to go through there, but they have a 907 right there. I don't know why you're continuing to push up, Haas. It's kind of stupid to push up when you could have just backed up. But here, I'm going to go try and get that 907 because we can't let him stay there if we want to win this game. Because he's just going to be the direct counter to pretty much everything in our base. Our EBR should have really not been here anymore. It's kind of stupid to still have our EBR over here. Now, I don't fight that 907 because, for one, in order for me to peek him, I can't be hull down on this ridge because it's just simply not a tall enough ridge. Now here, he does a good play by going around me. I wanted him to ram me because it would have pretty much instantly tracked him. But instead, he's a monkey and he sets me on fire. And then I do a very bad misplay of how to 1v1. and then chieftains can't fight 907s because of that. So here, we could have possibly pushed these guys out like that, and then our mediums would have been free to push that e5 and then get behind them. But the main worry is it's only a possibility. It's not a guaranteed thing that can happen. I mean, you can see that these guys over here are pretty low on HP, and it wouldn't take much to do it. And it is something that we had to do if we possibly wanted to win this game. And then we see that the 140's back there. Our mediums should have still been able to push this. I mean, as long as our 260 and our 907 pushed in. So if they pushed in and they just hugged this corner, they would have been safe from everyone over there. They would have gotten farmed if they left anyone here, but it doesn't look like they did. It looks like it's just 3 people here, and we have a 907 there, which out DPMs them, and then the 260 can just take the hits. We do this, but it's a little too late, and it's not very well executed. Like, this 9-0 had to commit and come around like that, get behind this dip, and he could have shot the chieftain the whole way, and then this one couldn't have shot back. Their 140 is focused this way to stop us from doing that, so our mediums were perfectly clear to just push this and take his attention. The main issue is this is all done way too late. They already have our base pretty much under control, and with people there, they can shoot in here just fine without being hit at all. And then their chieftain pushes out, and our mediums struggle to kill one chieftain when they have over 3 times his DPM. Here, they both do a misplay by staying in line of where they can get shot from other people. So these mediums... Oh no, I went back. Let me reset the replay. Alright. So these mediums, when that chieftain pushed, should have got back there. If they can drag that chieftain back there, he's perfectly secluded from everyone else on his team, and no one else can hurt him, or hurt our mediums. But because our mediums have nearly 3 times his DPM, they should be able to kill him in 10-15 seconds max, if they just don't bounce. And that's just a general misplay in how to fight tanks. They should have realized this, but they didn't. They just circled him and then rammed him for some reason. When you don't ram a chieftain when you're playing a medium. So yeah, here the game's just over. There's nothing else that we could have done. I mean, we were very split up. We didn't re-push anywhere. And we just kind of sat there and hoped that they were bad at the game. But this clan is top 9, so they're not really bad. Alright, on to the next one. Mannerheim wine. I do believe. Maybe, maybe not. If anyone else has replays that they want me to look at and tell them what they could do better or explain how to do something better, feel free. I'll record it. I'll make a playlist for it, and I can make it unlisted or listed. I don't give a fuck. I like to have the people in the channel when I'm going over this, or in the Discord when I'm going over this, because then you can ask questions and I can explain stuff better and everything like that. However, if you do have questions, message me, and then, well, message me a time in the video that it is, and then we can talk about it. And I can try and explain what I'm talking about even more. So they're down 1. They tried to fight us earlier and stuff like that. So the main thing to know is that their top 9, they dropped lower to get us, and they're going to be good. And we severely don't take that into account. However, you never know. So I'm just going to speed this up. And then while we're driving over there, I'm going to explain what I see on their team that tells me what they're going to be doing and why I think they're going to be doing that. So they have 260s and 277s. Normally on this map, if you're a 260 or 277, you would be going this way and then you would be pushing straight across like that. Or you would be pushing around like that and then combing through there. But either way, you end up on this corner, which you can't peek very well if there's chieftains here. Now, they also have chieftains, which I assume are going to be stopping right around there in order to help their 277s and then pushing up through there like a normal chieftain and then coming up on that ridge, which they can peek over here. And then they have bat chats, which to me, they would put them going through here and sitting right in that dip, because by the time we are able to cross this, they're going to be loaded roughly when we're about right here. So they could be shooting us as we're going. And then also, they could have had a bat chat sitting over here, and then he would be able to shoot their EBR, our EBR, anywhere over here. Another thing that they could have done is they could have done the hill push through the south here, and then our EBRs probably wouldn't have actually lit that if they did it right. And then they'd be all the way up here before we know where they are. Now, they do have a Leo, and they have 140s. To me, it would make the most sense to have the 140 up there, because 7 degrees of gun depression. A Leo and a 907 right there for DPM and aim. And then their last 140, I would probably put there, just as a cross shot into here to help the bat chats, if we push their bat chats. Here we're just pushing in. It's a very bloody battle. Someone points out that the Leo's there, and then they didn't put their bat chats to shoot us on the crossfire. They brought their bat chats to the north. So when they bring mediums to the north, let me erase these. So when they bring mediums to the north, they're gonna play them like 277s. However, usually they do one of two things. They push everyone right away, or they bring their mediums down below and try and get us from behind. I do believe that they go from down below. It does make sense for them to, because their bat chats can clip out 2 to 3 people depending on how they roll. We have a lot of people sitting in here that aren't shooting at their 260s and SCOGs and stuff like that when they're pushing up towards us. We could have had those 140s and 907s sitting right here, just all with us in the chieftains, and just farming these guys as they push in, and then they could have dropped back to there. But instead, since chieftains DPM isn't very good, we're just sitting here trying to farm as many of them as we possibly can. And then they immediately do the around push. They send their 907 and their 140 down below, which is kind of expected for them to do, but their bat chat gets lit that he's staying over there. We're still missing a bat chat because he wasn't relit. We don't know where he is. Their Leo is still there, and they have a chieftain that's not in the fight right now because he's up in that little corner thing, sniper position. But they're getting 140s and 907s below our 277 and our 140s. And then we kind of do a very bad overreaction to them putting people in this dip. This dip really doesn't fucking matter. I don't know why so many people say that this dip matters. If we sit here and we have someone here and someone back here, you can't push this way. And then if we have someone in here, someone over here, you can't push this way. So they're stuck there just bleeding HP. And we do a major overreaction. We bring our mediums down off of here to fight these guys on this ridge, which all of these guys can shoot them without being shot back. I mean, we could have just had a 907 in this rock in front of me, just looking down there farming them. Would have been a lot better than making a chieftain do it, because chieftain DPM is not good. Here, these 277s on the Querlin really shouldn't be going that way. They should be coming around to help us over here. Going this way is kind of weird because when they push out like this, they're going to get farmed from the chieftain. When they push out like this, they're going to get farmed from the chieftain. If they peek this way, they're going to get farmed from everyone over there. That was a pretty bad line. They're going to get farmed from everyone over there. So it's a very bad pushing location. It's good for holding someone right there because they can sit out here and they can spot that. But other than that, it's a horrible position to be in. And you can't really do much in that position. So putting two people down there is pretty much putting two people out of our fight. And then having them push around is basically suiciding two people, because by the time they get to this chieftain, they're going to be so low HP that they're just going to be dead, pretty much. Pushing one of the 277s down into the dip really isn't that necessary. Their mediums aren't that dangerous. Pushing in more people after them is an absolutely stupid idea. One person would have been plenty to finish both of those. And we just put all of our 140s down there, which is a horribly stupid idea. Because now they're stuck down there. They can't get out. They can't push. So now they're in the bleeding HP position. And we have an RD, they don't. So all we have to do is we just have to sit here. It's all that we had to do was just sit here, not push anything, just wait. And here, there's an EBR in our base. We don't have anyone that can go back and get him. Their bat shot's rotating around, so he's going to be over there to finish off our guys. Welcome to Horribly Aimed Shots. How can I help you? I'm very good at map reading, just not so much at aiming. So here you can see our one-shot 277. He's dying. They repushed him. And now we can't repush them because everyone in the dip is so low HP that they're going to be dead here soon. Hold on, someone. Okay. So here, that push into the dip and bringing our 140s back in a panic for just 2 tanks is what really killed us this game. We could have easily just sat there and we would have been perfectly fine, but instead we decided to panic and push into those guys. We would have had so many mediums that could have just repushed their chieftains and their 277s, but instead we brought them back to worry about 2 useless tanks. This is basic fighting for 1v1ing. I see that they're both turning that way, so I'm trying to get this way to try and get out of their shots. My plan was initially to try and get up on this slope a little behind this bunker to maybe that chieftain would miss me. And then I could have gone hull down on that chieftain, but no, I couldn't do it quick enough. But yeah, pushing into that dip is kind of what threw that game. It was a very unnecessary play, and something that should have been a big learning experience on how useless it is to have someone in that dip, and how bad it is to re-push that dip. That is the last battle from this advance, and I'm going to wrap it up there, I think. I don't think there's really anything else that I have to really talk about here. Other than this area is pretty useless. Let me fill in that entire box. This area, you can't push. And then we pretty much gave them that entire area without ever being lit. And then we could have repushed that if we kept our mediums up there. Other than that, there was really nothing else to talk about. Alright, I shall wrap it up here.